Hi, this is Shuaib, one of the co-founders of Visitran. Today we'll be looking at the Jaffle Shop starter project example and how to achieve the transformations we need with the no-code interface as opposed to the AI-based interface. Let's start by looking at the transactional data for this transformation project. First is that we have the customers table. So we have the ID, the first name and the last name. It's a pretty simple table. Then we have the order details where we have the order ID, which user placed the order, the date of the order and the status. And for payments, we have a table which can have multiple rows per order because the customer can choose to pay using multiple methods even for one order. For instance, she could pay using a credit card but also using a coupon. Now, here are the business questions we'll answer. Now that we saw how the transactional data looks like, from that data, we will have to do a series of transformations from which we'll answer essentially two business questions. Question number one is what payment methods were used for various orders. For instance, given a order ID, let's say we need to answer things like how much did the customer pay using credit card, how much using coupon, what was the total amount. Recall that there can be multiple payment table rows per order. Now in this final model, we will simply have one row for each order. Question number two is what is the customer lifetime value? Meaning how much did the customer give in total to the business? This is the production order details final table that we want, and this is how it looks like. So there's an order ID, there's customer ID, there's order date, and then the status of the order. And then we have one column each for the type of payment that was made and the total amount in dollars. Like I mentioned before, there can be multiple payment rows per order, but in this particular final model, we have everything consolidated. For instance, if you take this particular order ID, we have a total amount of $19 that was paid. But then you can see here that there was a bank transfer of $14 and credit card of $5. Everything is consolidated here. Next is we look at the broad customer lifetime value table. Here we have the customer ID, first name, last name. When was the first order by this customer? When was the last order by this customer? The number of orders and also the customer's lifetime value in dollar amount. Here are the models we'll build. Now, of course, we can build the production models in one go, but then where's the fun in that and where's the reusability in that? So what we will do is that we will have different layers of models. The dev models will have the most simple transformations, and from the staging models, we will derive the production models. First, let's look at the dev payments model. This is a pretty simple model. What we essentially do is that we derive this model from the raw payments model, and we will rename the ID to payment ID, and we'll also add a new column. As you can see here, this particular amount column is in cents, so we'll have to convert that into dollars. So we add a new column. A very important concept in Visitran is that you do most of the transformations by adding a new column and specifying a formula to create that new column. In this particular case, we will divide by 100. We'll see exactly how to do it. This is the lineage of the model. So as the source is raw payments, and we will use the dev schema and a table named dev payments. When it's done, this is how the dev payments model will look like. Now let's see how to get this done in Visitran using no code. I've logged into the Visitran UI. From here you can load the sample projects and keep going. So first is we look at a completed project and how it looks like. So when you click on load sample project, you will be able to see both the starter project and the finalized project for the Jaffle Shop sample. Clicking on finalized will show you the finalized version of the project. Let's review it briefly, and then we can go back to a starter project and do all the transformations ourselves. Also note that this project is very clearly documented in the documentation. Let's open the finalized project. Here you can see that the seeds are available. So let's quickly review the seeds. I'm going to close the AI frame. So you can see that there's customer information, orders information, and also payment information. Right? Let's close these. We want to answer the questions: what is the customer lifetime value for each customer? So you will be able to see the total dollar value for a customer throughout their lifetime. You see that here? And the other question we want to answer is the order details as to which payment types or payment channels customers used. So you can see the various types of payments that customers used. So these are the two questions we want to answer. But the way we'll construct the models is with something like this. So we will have staging models, we'll have the dev models as well. So before we can come up with the production models, we'll have a couple of staging models as well, right? Now these dev models will directly correlate with the raw data with some changes. We'll go